In today's Focus on Family, helping your tween or teen daughter develop the capacity for self-care, wellness, and appreciation for her body and herself. Psychotherapist Arden Greenspan-Goldberg is the author of What Do You Expect? She's a Teenager, a hope and happiness guide for moms with daughters 11 to 19. Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure to be here, Dina.
What I find really refreshing in this book is you have all of these scenarios. You have letters from other parents who are saying, okay, I have experienced this with my child, whether it comes to self-respect or sexting or depression.
Right.
And all of these different scenarios, I think, help us to gain a greater understanding of teenagers in general.
Absolutely. I was sharing with you a moment ago, a mom wrote a letter to me about walking into a 12-year-old daughter's room. She had porn up there. The mom went ballistic. This is not the way to deal with it. This is the authoritarian kind of mom. And she yelled at the daughter. The daughter started to cry. And then the mom was looking for advice from me. And I said, go in there, apologize, and be aerial about it. Meaning, be there for your daughter in a very different capacity. Learn what her intention was to get on that site to begin with. And then teach her about that's not the way people relate to each other. You don't denigrate your body like that. Your body's not an object. It's something to be revered. And you put it, to her on a 12-year-old level. You don't give her too much information to flood her. But
use these shocks as teaching moments. You mentioned a moment ago this idea of aerial parenting. And I know we've all heard this negative term about being helicopter parents, and we don't want to hover. But you say we do want to be aerial parents, so we still want to be looking down.
Oh, absolutely. Aerial is just rising above and seeing the picture. Our kids are going through some very difficult periods of growth at puberty at this point, and they're living through such complicated and overstimulating and over-sexualized times. So we really want to be moms with the finger on the pulse and dads with finger on the pulse at this point, because our kids really need us more than ever to help them scream through everything that comes in and at them, and living through this very overstimulating teen culture at this point.
Even if with the example of the 12-year-old, you talk about listening. And I think so often we want to come forth with that advice so quickly. And you say in those pregnant pauses, let them figure out what they want to say, even if sometimes they are criticizing you and they're not saying anything really that you want to listen to.
You want to help them process, but you want to give them the breathing space and the respect to help them navigate and figure it out and be the North Star, but not to give them all the answers. We don't want to cripple their thinking mechanism, and they get pissed off too. If you start talking too much and talking down to them, that's when the eyes roll and they tune you out. So risk and prevention factors is the tightness and the closeness of the connection with the mom and the dad. They still may experiment, but they're going to feel a bit guilty and anxious, and they're going to have, you want to help them develop the capacity to look in and to pay attention to all those, little inklings there of that something is up and not quite right, and that they need to back away and think things out and through. And
so they become their own police officer as opposed to you being that person. I know one thing I found so interesting was you said think back to your own teenage years and what you needed from your mother or your father in terms of communication. And I thought about that and I tried to do that, but I thought it's such a different world now with the social media and sexting and all of this stuff. How do we put ourselves in their position?
Well, we remember what it was like for us, that if we had mothers, like I had a mother that came on too strong and opinionated, so it closed me off, and I was very private and closed off. And you want to be a different kind of mother. You want to be warm and approachable, and you want to be an educated and aware mom, Dina, and know what's happening in the teen culture, that there's sexting and kids are sending out stuff on Facebook, and just they send it out, they don't think there's any repercussions, and it comes back to bite them even though it's deleted. And there are people out there that lie and say they're your daughter's age and they're pedophiles and such. So
well, definitely keeping the lines of communication open.
Absolutely.
But there is so much great advice in here, and I think we learn from the other parents that we're not alone in all of this and in raising teenagers. So thank you so very much. What a great
pleasure.
What a great book.
And mom can be her daughter's secret weapon.
Let's hope. Let's hope.
Yes, absolutely.
Arden Greenspan-Goldberg, thank you very much. And you are signing copies of your book Thursday night at 7 at the book stalls. That's at Chestnut Court in Winnetka. If you want to learn more, you can go to her website, askarden.com, or for a link, go to our website, WGNTV.com/midday.